As a parent, I would say there's huge educational benefit. There's so many things, but beyond just school and education, there's a lot of social benefits, and then there's a lot of practical skills. They're very concerned about safety and doing things correct. As a 4-H leader, you have to go through training, you have to have a background check, so it's safe for your kids. And I think that's always something that parents might have concerns about. For somebody who had moved into the community, it was a little scary to let your child participate in something not knowing anybody, but knowing that all of those safeguards are in place is very reassuring.
Welcome, everyone, back to WNC HeartBEAT. We are in season 2 now. We've done our first season. We took a little break, the winter time, all the snow and ice, and now we're back. And we're so excited to welcome our 4-H crew. We've got Misty Varnell and Shanna and Ace here today. So today we're sitting down with people in 4-H in Madison County, North Carolina, and a family who's living it firsthand. So get ready for a conversation about kids, community, and what it means to grow up rooted in these mountains. And I'm Anna Rose. I'm the co-host. And Allie, do you want to say something about yourself?
Hi, I'm Allie, and I grew up in Canada, so we didn't have 4-H. So this is all new to me when we first moved here, and I had brought the kiddos to the first 4-H meeting.
Yeah, and our kids go to 4-H and we love it, and we're so excited to have everybody here to talk about it. So, Missy, can we start with you? You grew up in Western North Carolina, is that correct?
I actually grew up in Eastern North Carolina and then moved to Western North Carolina for college.
Awesome. So, how did you get into 4-H?
So I was in my local club in Wilson, North Carolina, where I grew up. Joined that very similar to the clubs that we have here in Madison County. Did that off and on as I was growing up, and then came full circle as an adult and got into it professionally. So I've been professional in 4-H 10 years now, and then started when I was young.
I remember you talking about how enthusiastic you were about the kicking clovers, right?
Yeah, so that was my home club. I was one of the charter members, and it's still going strong all these years later.
What does 4-H do in Madison County, Missy? Can you give us kind of a little bit of an overview?
Sure. So we're all about life skill development. Kids ages 5 to 18 can be members of 4-H, and then we also recruit adult volunteers to help make these activities happen. So we're about empowering youth to reach their full potential, working and learning in partnership with caring adults. And anything that is science, healthy living, civic engagement, and those categories are very broad. But if they fit into that and have some like research backing, we're associated with NC State University. All of that comes together in real hands on learning and life skills. So that probably didn't directly, that's the umbrella answer, didn't maybe directly answer the question. I'm going to let Ace answer a little bit about what he does, and then we can expand on that in this conversation.
So I do a lot of agriculture and animal science stuff. I'm in dairy judging right now, and that's where we learn how to judge dairy cows and like how good they are, basically.
I'm fascinated because I grew up in a city and I've just leaned in hard to rural ever since we lived here. I love it so much. And learning how to judge dairy cows sounds so cool. What would your like if let's say like on a typical learning day, are you at someone's farm? Like what does it look like?
Well, typically we're here and we either go over a slideshow and do some cahoots on like anatomy and the reproductive system and um, memory and everything that goes around with the cow. Because with it, you have to know a lot, like about what's going on inside the cow, outside the cow, and a lot about feed and nutrition as well.
And once the days get longer, we get out to farms more. So we're working on some spring and summer field trips as well. But they're getting college level material. So when he's talking about the anatomy and the nutrition, they're getting college class material that they're studying. And it's really not that watered down.
That's so cool. And I see you have a cow on your t-shirt, Ace.
Yes, ma'am.
I want that t-shirt. How does 4-H, and maybe this is a question for you, Missy, how does it adapt to rural mountain community? Because I assume that's sort of like the target. if you will?
Yeah, so 4-H started as a rural agricultural program where the land-grant universities were trying to work with farmers to get farmers to use the new seeds that they were developing. And in order to win the trust of farmers, they actually started with kids and kids gardening programs. So back early 1900s. So we very much have rural roots. The topics have expanded exponentially over the last 100+ years with what we can do. So it's actually a really easy and natural fit here in the mountains and in our rural communities because we have families that have gardened for years, as well as people that didn't grow up gardening and want to learn, and it's the perfect place for that. And that gets to be a good springboard for everything else too we do. A lot of cooking and a lot of agriculture like Ace has talked about.
So we want to know a little bit more about Shanna and Ace, the Carters who are with us today. How did you first get connected to 4-H?
We lived in West Virginia for 18 years and moved back. I'm from this area originally. And when we moved back, I was looking for activities for the kids because I was homeschooling. I have 3 children, but I was homeschooling the younger 2. And we were just looking for ways for them to meet people. And so I Googled 4-H and then came up and met Misty. And she kind of walked me through what was accessible, what was available, and I think at the time I took maybe checked out a kit to take home and do some of that to supplement homeschooling stuff, and then signed up to do more of the I don't remember what the first one we did, maybe pull it. I don't know. We've done, like, the Pull It project. Ace has done and my other son have done Dairy Heifer showing. So we've done a lot of different things, and so that was kind of the entry point, was just looking for community activities. Misty was a great advocate of what all they offered, and so then we've just slowly gotten more and more involved.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Pullet Project for our listeners who might not know what that is?
At the beginning of the project, you get some chickens that are a day old. You learn how to take care of them and provide for them and get them to be healthy. And then as you go through the project, you learn about showmanship. And at the end of the project, you show your chicken, and it's like a competition.
And that's a project that we do annually now.
Now, I think I just saw, Anna, did you see that email sent around? I think the is that the Pullet project that's coming out?
It is the time for getting chickies.
It is the time.
I'm not sure when this episode airs, but we'll have educational programs. Ace is actually going to help lead some of those educational programs as a seasoned 4-H participant. So this goes into our youth adult partnerships, and we've got youth that have learned all the ropes, and now they're going to start teaching.
That's something that I really love about 4-H is how 4-H teaches leadership. And I want to ask you, Shanna, what have you seen um, in with ACE's participation? What have you seen change in terms of that capacity for leadership and teaching as a result of 4-H?
So when we started, he was a participant in the Pull It project. How many years have you done it? 3,
3.
maybe? Um, and this year, he and Misty had talked about switching that just because he'd done it so many times, and he is gonna, like she said, gonna be leading one of or a few of the, um, classes. Like, there's how to bathe your chicken, for example, before a show, or how to show your chicken, or different things like that. So, I definitely seen his ability to do the task improve, but then also to then take that and teach it. And then my other son is actually gonna be leading we lead a teen club, and he's gonna take our April meeting and do fire safety and first aid. He's a first responder, so, he's also in high school, so it's kind of a combination of letting him still be a teen club participant, but then also lead, one of the classes.
That's awesome. What do you think about that, Ace? Like, how do you feel you've changed as a result of 4-H?
I feel more confident about leading things and trying new things.
That makes sense. I think with the structure of the meetings where the kids learn how to run a meeting and get really good support on learning structure and things like that and how to lead a group, I'm not surprised. I've been impressed and I think it's great. Has 4-H kind of brought you closer to your Madison County community, Shanna? Do you feel like you have more community because of what you do with 4-H?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. At first, it was just the kids meeting other kids, which was my initial goal, but then it grew into getting to know other parents, connecting. Madison County is small, but because I haven't been here continuously my whole life, obviously I didn't go to school with people. Um, I actually went to school in Asheville, so I missed out on those connections, and so it's been a great way to meet people, and then meeting other parents and other 4-H leaders, and your circles begin to cross over. They might be in 4-H together, or then have a class together at school, or whatever. So absolutely, it has, and it's allowed us to get to know some of the kids. We actually did a project at our house. Um, we live out, and we did like a plant identification, and the teen club came out, but then their parents came out too. So it was an opportunity. I mean, we had a whole group of people at our house, and just fosters community and an ability to hang out and socialize. And the club was over, but the parents had set out a a blanket and sat and chatted and hung out for a while just because they were having fun. So I think that's one of the things that 4-H fosters is community for the kids, but also for the parents.
Anna and I became friends when our kids started playing at the community center. So I fully understand how when you find a connection with a parent because your kids are hanging out together, like how golden that can be. And Misty, I have a question for you actually, just to shift topics a little bit. How does 4-H connect to sort of local businesses, local farms, schools, stuff like that? Like how does that all work?
We're extremely connected in a lot of different ways. So with schools, we do school enrichment, and specifically every year we work with all of the second grade classes in Madison County on the embryology project. So that ties directly into second grade curriculum. We'll be delivering incubators and fertilized eggs and supporting those classrooms with incubating and hatching chicks later this spring. With third graders, we do a gardening program called Soil Solutions. So we'll have gardens at the schools supporting their classrooms. Then they come and field trip here at the Extension Center. And we've got relationships with other organizations with fourth and fifth grade as well, where we support some field trips. We've worked on like as needed basis with middle school and high school classes. So we're very involved curriculum wise with the schools that way.
That's incredible. It's funny you mentioned the embryo project because I just started homeschooling my daughters this year. And when we were discussing whether they're going to go back for grade 1 to Hot Springs Elementary or whether I was going to homeschool them, they said, but in grade 2, we get to like hatch eggs. That must have been what they were talking about.
Yes.
And I'm like, we live on a farm. We hatch our own eggs. Like we could definitely do this. Anyways, that's why certainly when we're temporarily in Asheville, but once we're back in Spring Creek, like we're definitely going to be hopping on that 4-H bandwagon again.
And I'm glad you mentioned the homeschooling. So when Shanna and Ace first started, we let them borrow, I think it was an electric project to tie into their homeschooling. So we can lend out curriculum for homeschooling. So if you have your own eggs and chickens, we can work with you on the curriculum piece to support your schooling.
That's really great to know. Okay, I will definitely be pinging you about that.
Absolutely.
That's so cool. I love how layered this organization is. Like we've got community building, we've got curriculum building, we've got skill building, leadership building. It really is such a wonderful concept for an organization. So I feel like I really understand 4-H now. Misty, is there anything else that we've missed that you might want to mention about 4-H?
I do want to give a shout out to our community. So, a lot of local businesses have supported us, whether it's donating goods or donating money to help our fundraisers. 4-H is free for kids to join. So, when they fill out their membership in our 4-H online enrollment system, they become members, they get on the email list to find out what's going on in 4-H, and they don't pay anything for that. When we get into clubs and projects, sometimes there are dues that cover our operating expenses. We make scholarships very available, and those scholarships are thanks to fundraising and a lot of the local support that we have. So I couldn't possibly name all of the people that help us out, but we have an extremely supportive community, and I've never come up short when we've asked for support in the community.
What would you say to a community member or parents out there? And any of you can answer this one actually, where they're sort of on the fence about joining 4-H.
As a parent, I would say there's one, there's huge educational benefit. There's so many things, but beyond just school and education, there's a lot of social benefits, and then there's a lot of practical skills. Um, but the other thing is they're very concerned about safety and doing things correctly. So as a 4-H leader, you have to go through training, you have to have a background check, so it's safe for your kids. And I think that's always something that parents might have concerns about, especially with younger children. So everybody's vetted who works with your child. Um, and so for somebody who had moved into the community, it was a little scary to let your child participate in something not knowing anybody, but knowing that all of those safeguards are in place is very reassuring. So it's safe, it's also so many benefits, and there's so many different things. I mean, it's honestly you have programs from I don't know what the youngest would be, but up to age 18. So, I mean, it's can really be something throughout their entire childhood that they can participate in and teenagerhood, whatever that would be called.
Yeah.
For those who are listening who maybe don't have kids within that age bracket but do want to help support 4-H, Misty, how can businesses, volunteers get involved and support the program?
So you can Google Madison County 4-H North Carolina and get in contact with me, and I'd be happy to plug you in. We're getting a new website in a couple of weeks, but our Madison County Extension site will have a dedicated 4-H page, and you'll be able to find out what's going on every month for this year and how to sign up for those activities.
That's great. We'll be sure to link that in our show and our captions so that everybody can get there. I'm very excited to hear that you have a new website. I know that's been a big project, long time coming, and that'll be really, really helpful. I think I just have one more question for all of you really is what do you see the future of 4-H bringing to the community, to the children? Like what is 4-H's mission going forward, and how do you experience that as the coordinator, Misty, and how do you experience that maybe as participants and parents?
As I mentioned earlier with our mission, we're about empowering people to reach their full potential and life skill development through hands-on learning. And that mission's going to stay the same. How we do that may change because we really are a grassroots community organization. So we have support of NC State and NCA&T state universities, county government, state government, and all of our volunteers. So it's really community driven with what those needs are going to be. But it's always going to be hands-on education. It's always going to be equipping youth with the skills and hopefully the passion to make a difference in their community.
I know we had many schedule conflicts from all of the ends, and I'm so glad we all coordinated and found a date that worked for all of us to hop on. Thank you guys for spending the time with us and sharing a little bit about this very special program.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.